How are you going there? Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about somebody from the New England district. Now this person went on to become quite a famous writer and a bit of a mover and a shaker in Australia. Her name was Judith Wright. Now she was born in Armidale in 1915. She was of Cornish descent, and a lot of Cornish came to this area and were involved in mining in the 1800s. Now Judith moved around a bit with her family, but she did go to the New England Girls' School in Armidale and then later finished her education at the University of Sydney. Now Judith's claim to fame was not related to the things that she studied, but it was as a poet and a writer and as a social and environmental activist. Now back in Judith's day, those things weren't very much heard of. During the Second World War and beyond, she worked very hard and founded several very important environmental movements and was very keen on the early protection of places like the Great Barrier Reef. More than that, Judith also was a bit of a champion for human rights and for social rights for people, including taking up the fight for rights for Indigenous Australians. Judith had a lot to be proud of, and there's a lot for the rest of Australia to be proud of in her as well. She was recognised after her death by having a political region in southern Queensland named after her, as well as having several poetry prizes in her honour that are still active today. So in order to celebrate Judith, I'd like to share with you a poem that she published in 1944. This poem is called The Bullocky. Now I haven't memorised it, so you're going to have to put up with me reading it. Beside his heavy-shouldered team, thirsty with drought and chilled with rain, he weathered all the striding years, till they ran widdershins in his brain, till the long solitary tracks, etched deeper with each lurching road, were populous before his eyes, and fiends and angels used his road. All the long straining journey grew a mad apocalyptic dream, and he, old Moses, and the slaves, his suffering and stubborn team. Then in his evening camp beneath the half-light pillars of the trees, he filled the steepled cone of night with shouted prayers and prophecies, while past the campfire's crimson ring the star-struck darkness cupped him round, and centuries of cattle bells rang with their sweet, uneasy sound. Grass is across the wagon tracks, and plough strikes bone beneath the grass, and vineyards cover all the slopes where the dead team were used to pass. O vine, grow close upon that bone, and hold it with your rooted hand. The prophet Moses feeds the grape, and fruitful is the promised land. Now, I like that poem. I really enjoy the Australiana aspect of it. You can imagine some of the pioneers who were the early European settlers in this country, the people who worked and built the modern Australia that we know. Some of them were probably what we would imagine is mad. They gave up comfort. They gave up the niceties of living in a town and having all of the things that a town would offer. And they went out in the bush. And they lived a rough and ready life with few and far comforts, and often they had very little to show for it at the end of their lives, except a life full of memories of hard work, bent sore backs, twisted knuckled hands. Without the efforts that they made and the fact that they were willing to come here and do these things, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have the amazing country that we have to live in today, with all of the beautiful creature comforts that we take for granted so often. And so I love to look at some of these poems and love to think about how did those people impact our lives now. And I believe we should honour them, and we should honour people like Judith, who was able to capture some of these stories and she would have seen this firsthand in her lifetime, something that we won't get to see. There's my little homage to Judith Wright, the Australian poet from Armidale, and I hope you've enjoyed the video today. Thank you very much for watching it. If you've got anything to say about the video, please leave me a comment below. I'd love to know what you've got on your mind. Anyway, that's it today. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you later on. Bye-bye.